Hi folks, welcome back to Whiskey and Watches with Nick. Tonight I am really excited to be continuing on with the Best of Blends mini-series that I'm doing here on the channel. We did J&B last week, which if you watch the review, you know I love deeply. We're moving on to another very inexpensive Scotch blend today that I think a lot of you will be familiar with, but before we get too far into it, since we're doing a good value whiskey, I felt like wearing a good value watch, so the Orient's back on the wrist. The whiskey in question today is Grant's. For those of you who aren't familiar with Grant's, it is actually not owned by Diageo. It's an independent company. They've managed to stay independent and family owned up to this very day. And this allows them to have complete freedom in how they operate. What I mean is financially. They're not beholden to a board of directors. They're not beholden to shareholders. They're able to operate basically as they wish, manage their whiskey stocks as they wish, divert their barrels to whatever project they see fit. And I suspect that a lot of very good, potentially rather well-aged whiskey from the Grant's inventory is making its way into these really cool triangular bottles. For those of you who don't know, Grant's is also the distiller that makes such well-known, really almost archetypal Speyside single malts, Glenfiddich and Balvenie. Is there Glenfiddich and Balvenie in this bottle? Yeah, probably. The point I'm trying to make here, and we actually will nose and taste whiskey at some point in this video, I promise. The point I'm trying to make here is one that I kind of hammer on a lot, which is that inexpensive whiskeys do not need to be bad or cheap in a qualitative sense. You can have a whiskey with an excellent low price point. This bottle cost me $16 at the local store, and they can provide tremendous value. They can be basically fine products. And I believe that's the case we have here with the Grant's. Is this the world's most stellar whiskey? No, it cost me $16. But is it really good for the price? Spoiler, yes. On the nose, for sure, what you'd expect from a Speyside, definitely getting the pear and apples with honey profile that you get from, I think, nearly every Speyside Scotch, and not a bad thing. But there's more going on than that. This is a surprisingly complex whiskey. Some orange, some raisins, little golden raisins. Some coca, or I don't know, brownie, coming and going. It's faint, but it's coming and going. It's there. Maybe every so often I'm getting a big hit of banana bread, which I always love. Banana bread in the real world is actually one of my favorite baked goods, so I like to smell it in my whiskey too. There's some darker dried fruit in there, maybe like a dried prune or something. I know what you're thinking. Well, how do you differentiate a dried prune from a raisin? It's just different. No discernible sherry or peat on the nose right now. Now, caveat, I am obviously drinking this bottle young. I mean, doesn't really have a neck, but I'm drinking the shoulders. So as this bottle opens up, I'm wondering if one might pick up a little bit more peat, a little more sherry. I might have to do a short review coming back and addressing just that very point. Big pear, big apple. Light mouthfeel. You can't probably see through the camera, but no legs on this. Very light body, very light on the palate. The complexity that I was getting on the nose is really not there on the palate. Maybe a touch of a light toffee on the finish. Hint of wood, but definitely not a woody or tannic whiskey at all. It's really quite refreshing. I really think this would come alive on some ice. Another idea for a short follow-up video. So, to answer the perennial question as we go through this Best of the Blends series, is this worth the price? Absolutely. If you're a really advanced drinker of whiskey, then obviously you're going to probably be a little bored by this. You're probably going to be far more satisfied seeking out the 12-year or older expressions of Glenfiddich and Balvenie instead. This is a fantastic whiskey for someone who just wants something casual, something to throw on ice. This would probably be a pretty decent cocktail whiskey. This would be an excellent whiskey for someone who is new to whiskey, and in particular new to Scotch, and wanted an inexpensive entree to Speysides. If you're a newbie, actually I would suggest picking this up. It will give you a good benchmark for what a Speyside should taste like, and will sort of help you calibrate your palate initially to sort of know, hey, that's what a Speyside smells like and tastes like. And then you can maybe splurge and get a bottle of Glenfiddich to move on with your exploration of the Speysides and be like, this is what it tastes like in a single malt. Oh my gosh. And it says single malt. Wow, brain fart. Anyways, folks, I'm not going to drag this out too much longer because apparently my brain is starting to shut down for the night. So, nice whiskey, definitely drinkable. Definitely has some refinement to it, especially for the really low price point. Great value, right up there with its bourbon cousin. Maybe it is to Scotch what Evan Black is to bourbon. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and look for the follow-ups addressing the burning questions that still stand about this whiskey. And I will see you next time. And yes, we are doing more Best of Blends episodes, so keep tuning in for them.